California 30, Mr. Mike Anadiotis. Good morning all.
Here, I'm gonna invite this guy to make it easier.
Man, what a day.
Do you have your workout just right now, John?
Nope. I moved it to the PM, and I'm not the ideal John Johnson right now. I've been hooked, man. They put me on these. They got me staying up too late, Bob. I've said, listen, guys, I'm going to sleep. Savion pings me. Mike Martin's in the chat. I said, damn, I gotta get back in here. It's already 10:30 my time. I'm like, damn, it's already past my bedtime. Next thing you know, we're up like 2 hours. They're playing Halo. I'm like, damn, can't get to sleep. We start chopping it up. It's just, I just can't get to sleep, man. I'm telling you guys, like, I'm done. Today I'm done at like 8. I'm done. You won't see me around. I'm gone.
Well, we'll see about that.
I have to. I'm cutting it off. But I don't miss the gym, man. If I don't hit it in the morning, I make sure I get there in the afternoon. You're terrible, Savion. You see, they want me to stay up. They want me to stay up. And they want me to
I'll you right now. If Bob was on, he definitely would have played Halo with us.
Oh yeah.
You would have convinced him.
No, you don't need any convincing with me, man. I'll get on.
Bob, what's up? And it's early your time too. We were playing at like 10 o'clock, so it was 7 o'clock for you.
Oh yeah.
Bob's asleep.
I was at the gym at that time.
Bob can really kick it with us till like 12 o'clock midnight our time.
Oh
yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Bob, when do you
that's
go to
about
sleep,
what.
Bob?
Yeah, right about then. 9 to 10,
9
somewhere
o'clock.
around there. 9:30, 10, somewhere around there.
And what time you wake up?
Whenever I can. Normally it's about now 4:30, somewhere around there.
It's 4:30 for you right now?
No, when I wake up. I didn't wake up just right now.
It's 8:35 forever.
Yeah.
I'm out of it, man. I'm out of it.
Yeah, no. I wake up around 4:30, go downstairs, hit the gym, do some stretching, do my exercise for the day, get that shake in, and then my wife wakes up, then we go for a walk, and then when we come back, take a shower, get ready for the show. Can't miss my boy Dan here.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's how my day starts.
Wow. It's a good way to start the day, man. A good way to start the day. I like to walk, man. I've been walking around. I walk like at least 20 minutes a day now.
Yeah, good. Especially early in the morning when it's fresh air and everything. It's perfect. It's great.
Got some new faces.
How's everybody doing? Adam, good morning, buddy. I saw you guys close that deal. Nice check. Congratulations. That looked great. $3.5% EMD. Holy cow.
How much is the purchase price?
Doesn't matter. 3.5%?
700 grand.
Hoo-wee.
Yeah, that's unnecessary. If it's a FISBO.
Oh, it's a FISBO too.
Nah. Sorry.
How's everybody else doing here? Esme's in all the time. Love it. Good to have you here, young lady. Amanda, good seeing you. So why are we here,
I was just gonna
ladies
ask
and
Bob,
gents?
what is the topic of today's conversation? Yesterday we talked about mindset. Today, what are we going to talk about?
Today, I think you set the pace for it already. Today's topic is how you can be your best. Why today is a good day to be your best. And why every day is a good day.
Every day is a good day to be your best. Every day is a good day to show up, play the hand you're dealt. Not every day is going to be the perfect day, but you can make the best out of every day.
That's right. And so long as it's just a little bit better than yesterday, you're always improving.
You know what my
I
thing
will
is right
never.
now?
Hmm.
I got the pipeline. The pipeline is promising. I've got money in escrow, and like I see it is about to close. Now I gotta keep filling up the pipeline for the future. That's where I'm at right now. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta keep filling it up.
Always.
I gotta keep
Great.
finding new deals.
Great. Great. Yeah, that never ever stops. You never stop that. You might slow it down, you might increase it, but you never stop it completely. Ever. If you want to have a business, that is. If you're just in it to just make a couple of bucks and say, hey, I'm a wholesaler, okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to have a true business, that's not how you do it. You never turn off your marketing in any business, ever. So I got a sign here that I always look at when I'm tired, when I've been beaten up, when I'm exhausted, whatever. And it just simply says, not dead, can't quit. That's it. Not dead, can't quit. And right below it, it says, I still have half a tank left. Half a tank. You always have half a tank. I don't care how many reps of your exercise you've done. I don't care how many calls you've made. I don't care how many of anything that you're having a KPI of you've done. You still have half a tank left and you still can't quit. So if you go in it with that type of a mentality every morning, every afternoon, every night, you will be unstoppable. I promise you. Dan must be closing a deal, or else he'd be chiming in here right now.
AB,
All right.
let's talk about this one deal. The way he locked this up was insane, man.
Yeah.
We gotta drop the footy for this one. We got to.
Yeah,
AB, what
thankfully
happened?
that there was footage for that.
There was footage for that. I couldn't
Love
pass
that
it
I
up.
know.
I couldn't
Love
pass
that
it
I
up.
know.
It was insane.
But yeah, nah, this was a. It's funny because I called it out too. I was like, watch this. So it was a FISBO, St. Louis, right? It's a 2 bed, 2 bath, like 950 square foot. It was up for 75K, but the main thing that really attracted me is that it was renovated and that and is renting out for 950, right?
Oh, okay.
So I called it up, got the information, you know, she said it was a flip. I go back to the records. I see that she got it for like around 15 to 20,000. And then I think when she put me down, like I guess to crunch numbers, I overheard her talk like she only put around 15,000 into it, 15 to 20,000. So I know where her numbers at. So I offered her 58 off the bat, and she said no. Well, I'm sorry. I asked her what's your lowest, that you'll possibly take, just so I know where to start at. And then she gave me 58, and then I countered back with 55, and I cover all closing. So she said, nah, we'll do 58. But then I said, if we do 58, each party has to cover closing. So what does that mean? As basically, seller closing costs, and I got my own closing costs. So she said, nah, matter of fact, let's do 55, and you cover all closing. So boom, done and deal, under 20 minutes. I called her back, got the info, locked her up. If it was longer, if I could have recorded that whole entire process, that would have been a great gem to drop.
So let me ask you, AB, on that deal, why is it beneficial for you to lock it at 55 but pay for closing costs for both sides versus 58 and pay your own and she pays hers?
Well, honestly, I even broke it down to her. I broke it down to her by saying, look, she asked how much closing costs were. I said, it's probably around like 1% of purchase price, or a little bit more. She said, okay. So I gave her the two options. Maybe she just didn't want to deal with any of that. So
yeah,
take care of that.
1% would be what, 550 on 55 versus,
well, like 580.
For
Probably
58.
like 1,000.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there is still an advantage for you to go to 550 to 55 and pay for both sides closing, right?
Exactly.
And the fact that you have it at 55, it looks more attractive to your end buyer, your cash buyer that you're going to sell it to, compared to 58, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you have buyers already lined up for it?
I got my man John right here. He's about to slap it on good old investor lift.
Nice. Nice. Okay. And what are you slapping it on for, John?
We think 70, right?
Yeah, I have it underwritten for 70 right now.
And this is a FISBO, right?
Well, not anymore.
Tell him
It's
the
off the
best
market.
Part. Tell him the best part. Tell him the best part. He skipped over
Oh
the
yeah,
best part. So listen. I'll say this lady, while he was on the phone with this lady, she's like, "Oh, I'm getting text messages. I'm getting a lot of messages about that property." I tell you, Bob, this man kept it cool, calm, and collected. He said, "All right, what we're gonna do next? We're gonna go ahead and take it off the market to avoid all confusion." Bob, she
Love
took it
it.
off the market on the call. She signed the paperwork on the call. He closed her in less than 20 minutes. Less than 20 minutes. Bro, if he has it for 55 and it sells for 70, that's a $15,000 assignment. If we were to split it 50-50, he makes $7,500 in less than an hour on one phone call. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? $0 spent marketing. Zero. This guy
And
is the FISBO king. I'm telling you. It's
where'd you
crazy.
find this lead? On Zillow? Or where?
Yes, sir.
Love it. Love it. It's amazing. Everybody has their own way of skinning that
That's what
poor
I'm saying,
cat.
man.
That's fantastic. Rich Menace, thanks for joining us. I was about to read your question, but since you're on, why don't you ask your question yourself? How you doing?
Good.
Great.
Let me see what question I just asked. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think the question I just asked was, say if my property like it needs some repairs, can I use a comp that like already been remodeled?
You want to use a comp that's already been remodeled.
Oh,
You want to find out.
yesterday. Because somebody yesterday told me it doesn't match. So I thought I was restricting.
No.
Well, I was right the whole time.
No. So what you're doing is, you're finding a house that's got some sort of distress. In this case, it needs some rehabs, upgrades, whatever. Okay.
Yes.
What you want to do is find out how much will that house be worth once it's all fixed up. Okay. So that the retail buyer can come in and buy it at that price. Okay.
Okay.
So you're looking for what we call an after repair value, or ARV. Okay. And that's from a fixed up house, not a house that's in similar condition as yours.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yeah, because I found like it was one house like after the repair, but I think it sold for like $215 on the 13th.
Okay. And
the house
that was fixed up, right?
Yeah, that was fixed up.
Okay. All right. Great. And what are you buying your house for?
I was gonna offer her $20,000 because they need some repairs.
How much repairs does it need?
Probably like the guy said they needed at least about 20 to 30,000 repair.
So at least double that. If they tell you that's how much it is, at least double or triple it. Okay.
So
what's their asking price?
She asked for 40.
40. And you found a comp for 210 in the same neighborhood?
Let me see what the comp was again after that. I had it. I think the comp was I think it was in the 210s or something a little lower than that.
Yeah, I know the amount.
Oh, the comp.
Is the comp in the same neighborhood?
Yeah, it was
quarter mile, half mile.
Yeah, I think it was like 0.3 miles away.
Okay, all right. Is it crossing any major streets?
No, it's right next to each other.
My man, if you can get it for even 40, that's a deal. I mean, I don't know anything but about this house, okay? But from what you're describing, it's a deal.
Can I screen record it? Screen share it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me log into this. I can show you the ARV first. Here you go. I'm doing it on my phone. Okay, here you go. Screen record. Swipe up. There we go. Okay, I can see it.
Coming up. Yep, there we go.
It's the house right here.
Rocky Mount. All right. I've done a deal there.
I don't know
All
why
right.
it ain't showing.
1,160 square feet.
as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it was a Fizzville too.
Did you know that Rocky Mount is the capital of what is it? I can't remember. It was like 2 years ago. I did a deal there. Capital of I don't see anything. It's a blank
You
screen.
don't know?
Nah, I
Let me
didn't
redo it. Let me redo
You're cutting out, Rich.
it. You see it now?
Yeah. Okay, so what's that?
Okay, you see it now?
Yeah, what is that?
You see it now?
Yes. Okay, but I don't see any description or anything. I just see a couple of pictures of the house. And it looks like it's boarded up. Rich?
I think we lost Rich.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I think it was called the capital of the Airbnbs because it's right
really?
in the middle of a lot of different places, and families come in and converge with one another at Rocky Mount. So if we get Rich back, that'll be great. Who else has got a question? You guys don't come here just to listen to me and Dan and John and AB just to talk about philosophy, do you?
Anybody wanna step up and private money lend for my buyer on this deal?
What deal is that?
It's a cash flowing deal. It's $1,200 a month. He was buying it for 95. I had a purchase price for 95,000.
How much does he want to borrow? 95 or plus rehab?
He was putting down 10,000, I think. 10 or 15. I can't. I'd have to ask. I'd have to see to know for sure what his actual terms were with the bank. But yeah, they didn't. They took forever. Basically, they just taking too long. The underwriting department's taking too long, and they said they wanted to do a whole structural appraisal and all this stuff. And so now it's pretty much. They said it's going to take over a little over more of a month. So just not possible to close with them. And they said there's even a chance that they might not be able to lend on it because the structure's old. So
he just needs it for a month?
no, he needs it. I don't really know how long he's looking to get the terms, but it's a cash flowing property.
Well, will it be cash flowing after he pays the PML too on a monthly basis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Send it. Let me take a look at it.
Oh. There we go.
Easy peasy.
Interested party.
Matt Riley's in the audience. Is that supposed to scare us? Kind of?
He's in the audience.
What you doing there? Yeah.
What's going
He's
on?
hanging out with PDRE today.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get his new ring light or something. I saw something about that. Something about ring light, a little bit of makeup. What was that?
Oh, is he going Hollywood on us? Is that what he's doing?
I mean, have you seen those looms? Sheesh. Production quality is unbelievable.
He's getting younger and younger in those looms, huh?
Every loom.
I think he told me he uses aging cream.
What it was?
I think
He's too young. He doesn't need that stuff.
that's what I told him.
He's a
He said, "Nah, man, I
whippersnapper
gotta
himself.
prepare."
All right, ladies and gents, this is your show. We're here for you guys. What do you guys want to do? Talk about? How long did you study wholesaling before making your first move?
A year. Took too long.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wholesaling? See, I started with short sales and REOs. And I took like probably 3 to 6 months just to understand what the hell is going on. And then after that, I started making moves.
Rich, I could tell you right now, that's not a deal, my boy. On the market for 82 days. There's no 210 comp.
Yeah.
There's,
if it was,
I think there's a new construction. There's a new construction at 132. Oh no, it's not new construction. It's a, I mean, this is not even remodel. It's at 132, but it's been sitting on the market. Yeah. I don't think this is happening.
this is a gut job.
A is just out of control.
What's going on?
Had to fire a dispo agent today. Had a dispo agent walk out on us today. Lost the lending on a funding.
Are you
Yeah.
saying that there's an opening in Dan's company in Apex Investment?
No.
Who cares? He
I
doesn't
don't know,
accept
yeah.
my.
Yeah.
He's turned down my application
No.
so many times. It's not even funny.
No.
Bro, what if I bring Fizbos to Apex?
Ooh.
Why would you want to do that? You take half of your profit that you're making.
Nah, you see, I get 50% from all you deal, and you get 10% from the Fizbos.
Ooh.
Just because I brought
Tempting.
Fizbo, you know. That's what I'm saying. The fucking deal of your life right there.
The only challenge is, AB, Dan's not that a little old lady. I don't think he's going to take it off the Zillow right now.
That lady
Yeah, I
wasn't
don't.
old
She
either,
wasn't
Bob.
she wasn't
young
old.
lady. She was.
Oh, yeah?
hustler. She was working.
She she had LinkedIn. She had plenty of other businesses. She know what she doing. So
Nice. Must have been the voice then
Yeah.
that
definitely was the
overpowered
voice.
her.
Yeah. It's the way he speaks, Bob. You got to hear it, man. He doesn't ask questions. AB, when he gets on the phone, he doesn't ask any questions. He tells people how things are going to work. All right. And they just listen to this guy. It's crazy. You got to hear it, man. You got to hear it. It's
Why don't you put it on a loom or record it so we can all hear it? I'd love to hear it.
We got to. Angela, we got to. We
Yeah,
got to
he-
drop that, man.
Today is just one of those days, man. But you know what that means? You know what that means, guys? It's that tomorrow is gonna be a
I
great
forgot
day.
about that. You guys want to hear some crazy shit?
Wow.
I was after contracting that property, right? I added Matt just to double check it because I know he does business in St. Louis, right? And he tells me, yeah, it's really cheap and it's renting good, bro. In the process that I'm just fucking around, looking around the neighborhood, calling buyers, I run across one guy and his name was Hans. Hans picks up the phone and thinks I'm like, he thinks I'm some guy named Eddie, right? I didn't catch that part till later on. So I have this tactic where I call buyers and I told them like we spoke like 3 to 6 months ago about doing business out there in you know in that city or state. So he says yeah. I was like he remembers me and all that, right? And then he starts talking about his how his mom died on the 4th of July, and then it took like a quick turn, and then he starts telling the story and all that, and later in the conversation he said some shit like I forget what he said about some birthday cards. Matt, do you remember what he said?
dude. So I'm sitting there in the voice channel, right? And I'm listening to AB making phone calls, and he's like, let me try to call this guy real fast and see if I can get him to buy this deal. So he gets on the phone, and exactly that. Like, the guy says, Eddie, oh yeah, Eddie, what's going on? Like, completely mistook him from the very first 5 seconds, and AB didn't catch it right away. And so he's like, yeah, man, I'm just calling about, and the guy within 15 seconds was like, yeah, man, my mom just died, and starts going to this whole deal. And AB's just like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like, you know, God bless her. She's in a better place. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on. And then then the mom unfortunately ended up like killing herself. Like this went down such a deep rabbit hole of a conversation.
Yeah,
AB's
it
like,
it took a very
AB was
quick
just
turn,
like,
bro.
AB was just like, oh man, God bless her. Like that's oh man. And then he's like, so the reason that I was calling you was, and then the guy was like, yeah, man. And he's like, I just, you know, I'm sorry going into this, but you've been such a good friend to us this entire time. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe this is somebody that AB knows from just like past deals or something like that. And he's like, yeah, man, we were going through mom's stuff, and she had some birthday cards in there for you too that she wanted you to have, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like in the side chat, and I was like, dude, he thinks you're someone else. He thinks you're someone else. And AB was just like, yeah, so I'm calling you about, are you still doing deals out in St. Louis? And the guy was like, what? And he's like, are you still doing deals out in St. Louis? And he's like, no, man, I'm in Virginia or wherever he was at. And he's like, and then AB just hung up on him. Like,
Bro, I fucking wasted my time.
The conversation at that point.
I did all that listening, thinking I was about to strike a deal on this one.
And you didn't ask him if he has a property for sale in Virginia?
Nah, I checked his prop string.
Maybe his
This guy went above and beyond on the crazy story.
Yeah, that was something else.
That's funny.
And I was in the side chat like, you got to tap out. And AB was just waiting for that moment for like the conversation not to be depressing anymore, for him to jump in.
I hung up after the cards, after he said that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mom had birthday cards for AB and her stuff after they went and searched her her house. And AB's like, I got to block that guy's number. I feel bad. And I was just like,
blocked his number instantly.
You definitely got.
That was a 5-minute conversation with that poor guy.
I wonder what he thought afterwards too. He was probably like, "Damn, Eddie, maybe Eddie will call me back."
Or he dissed me.
Me and Eddie got disconnected. He'll call me back. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, just like Eddie to hang up on me."
That's fucked.
That was definitely one of the more wild ones that I've seen in a while.
That's great though.
That was a wild call that I saw with you the other day when you were talking to that girl and she like calls you like screaming like,
dude. I gotta turn my camera on for this one.
I think Matt was asking for it.
So this lady, I have no idea who she is. Ever have spoken to her a day in my life. I don't know her from not even a Facebook group. I know her from nowhere. So
Right.
She must have seen a post of mine or something on these deals. And so all of a sudden she commented on one of my posts, and she's like, I'm this long too. And she's like, I've been trying to reach you. You haven't answered your phone. You haven't done nothing. And as I'm reading it, my phone rings. And I was like, damn, this is a number that I've been seeing lately. And I was like, let me answer this. And then so she called my Google Voice number. And anybody that has Google Voice, you know that when you answer, the person that's calling you has to say their name or whatever they want to say.
Right.
And so as I answer, I was like, hello. And Google Voice is like, call from. And she's like, please answer your phone. I've been trying to scream.
Oh my God.
In that initial message.
I would have hung up right there.
Yeah, right?
And I was like, this is her. This is the one I'm
nope.
reading right now. And so I answered the phone and I was like, hello. And she's like, hello. And I was like, did you just leave a comment on one of my posts? And she's like, I've been trying to reach you. So from the jump, she starts going off and then it's just screaming. I'm laying on my couch. I was watching TV. And so she just calls me. So like the first like 2.5 minutes, I'm just laying there. I was like, who are you? Why are you yelling? And then she started saying like, you're a psychopath. You're this.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, all right, now I need to record this because just in case. Like this lady could say anything now at this point that I'm threatening her or who knows. And so I had to run into my office and I started recording. As what you guys saw was like the last 2 minutes. But I was like, lady, I've never met your. She's like, I was out there. I had buyers and, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I didn't ask you to do anything. You're a random person off the internet. And then she went and messaged the owner of one of the Facebook groups, Mark Monroe, who runs Seller Financing Homes group. Really good guy, big group. And he reaches out to me and he's like, hey, what's going on with this lady? He's like, she messaged me and he screenshots it and sends it to me. So she was out trying to drop bombs on me all over the place. And he's like, I'm just going to let her cool down for a little bit. And I sent him a small clip. And he's like, when was that? The other day? And I was like, dude, 9 minutes ago. She I just got done getting off the phone with her.
She's single?
You never.
Yeah.
Sounds like my type.
She's got a single room at the mental facility is what she's got. It was unbelievable. I was like,
man, why did she just up and call you like that? Did you ever talk to her before?
Never. So I had posted a deal. One of my Ohio deals was I posted it in a group, and I guess she went, and then somebody messaged me saying that she was advertising my deals wherever else, like in her own group or something. I don't know where she was advertising it. Never gave her permission to do that. Never have spoken to her a day in my life. And so I guess she found 2 buyers that wanted to buy the deals. I think she was just one of those people. She was very hard up for money, it seems like that deal was very important. Like she saw a paycheck from that somehow and was trying to chase me down and was just, I don't know, I guess she had reached out to me several times and I didn't reach back out to her. And she, as you can see, lost her ever-loving mind. And then proceeded to call me a psychopath, which is hilarious. It's like, do you hear yourself right now?
She definitely drives a white Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, wait till I'll show you what this.
Don't ask me how I know that, man.
I'll show you what this insane asylum resident looks like. She looks crazy.
It's insane asylum resident.
Yeah, she's an absolute lunatic. But that's the name of the game, I suppose. I gotta get my number off the internet too. I realized that I only want my number for like when I send it to people. That's the only way I want it out there.
Good luck.
Too much. I know. I don't know if there's an ability to do that, but.
All right.
It must be a full moon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like the audience has been very quiet. A lot of listeners. Is there anybody that feels like they want to come up and join us, contribute to the conversation, has any questions, share what's going on in your business? I'd love to hear about, people's success, people's hardship, the challenges, their experience, lessons that they've learned recently. What's going on in your business? How can we help you? How can we grow together?
How is Shmoo doing? I see him in the audience after the other day.
That seller, he has not picked up any of my phone calls. I've called him, sent him text messages. He's an interesting personality, to say the least. I called him. I got on the phone with him one time on Saturday. I tried to coordinate with him that day to get John out there to go sign paperwork. I told him, look, man, is there anything stopping us from moving forward at 1:30? We take care of the closing costs. He kind of gave me the back and forth, this and that, saying like he doesn't want to waste any time. I said, look, man, we're ready to go out there and sign paperwork immediately. And he hasn't gotten back to me since. He said he was going to leave today, Tuesday. I tried to coordinate with him to get somebody out there today before he left that area. I'm going to keep following up. I'm going to call from a different phone number, and hopefully we can get him on the line.
Fortune in the follow-up.
There you go.
Bob, that LA deal that I was telling you about, if you're still here, Bob.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
The agent got back to me and said that they have, what I've been seeing a lot lately in the last probably 2 or so months is multiple sub-2 offers on almost, I would say on 50% of the properties that I'm looking at lately in the last 2 months.
In California or in general?
No, multiple locations, I would say. I think it's good in general. I think that the word is definitely getting out there, of course. And and people are definitely placing offers. But supposedly he has multiple sub twos. Properties listed at 700. Highest one they have on the table right now is 725. He said so. Basically, 25K seller proceeds plus commissions and closing costs. I guess he's setting up tenant schedules right now to do showings. I just don't know. I got to look at that property again. I just don't know California that well in order to figure out what the exit is on that thing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at it again. But when they have multiple sub 2 offers, why don't they pick one?
Yeah,
what are they waiting for?
Yeah, I know. I have another one in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Multiple sub 2 offers. Like, I mean, I'm not even in competition anymore with other, like, hey, we have a traditional here, and you know, if you can beat that, well, it's like, no, we have 3 sub 2 offers. I'm getting into like bidding wars with sub 2. Which I never thought would be the case at all. And the offers are, I don't know who these individuals are that are making these offers, but they don't make any sense to me.
Because they're just practicing, honestly.
And that's, yeah, I say the same thing. And I try to use that as like my defense mechanism when I'm talking to the agents. Like, I never want to be someone that's going to like shit on the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But it is true and transparent on my side that I do say, like, likely they're just either practicing and they've never done one of these before, or they're just over offering in hopes that you'll accept it. Yep. And then a week or two down the road, they're going to realize they can't close on those terms and they're going to ask for a reduction on whatever. Like, so many of these they're just randomly offering $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 seller proceeds to the seller. And I'm like, how? You're already over 10% entry just on that alone. Like, what is the strategy here?
So do you think we've gotten to a point where it's just like a cash offer where we have to educate either the seller or the agents in regards to, hey, I mean, look at it from a business perspective, you know? Do these numbers make sense? If you were going to submit an offer like this, would you be making any money at all on it? I mean, think a little bit and see if it makes sense at all or not. And so if it's not, you know that they're going to come back and retrade. I'm a regular, I don't do that kind of stuff. And here's my offer. And this is why this is my offer. And I just break it down like you always do in your calls, right?
Yep. And I actually had to do that last week or the week before. And that's actually how I won. And it's just, it's just, again, it goes back to like during COVID when the market was absolutely insane and multiple offers were coming in on everything. And there was such at least here, and I'm sure everywhere else, people became desperate. And so they were like, we're just going to offer, you know, it's a $200,000 property. I'll offer $250,000, $275,000, whatever that ridiculous number is just to get it accepted, knowing like it's not going to appraise out. Like, I'm not going to have to pay $270,000, but I just need to get it under contract, and then I'll work on reducing the terms. And I feel like that's kind of where we are starting to be with sub 2. It's like, well, someone will buy this maybe, and if not, I'll just go back. I'll get the seller proceeds down, and I'll make this a more attractive deal. And to me, I just can't get behind that.
Oh my God!
Time.
Absolutely not. I mean, time on one side, but think about it. Let's walk this through, Matt. Let's say that we get a horrible sub 2 deal under contract and we're able to assign it to someone. Someone says, well, I'll take it. Okay. Yep. After 2, 3, 6 months of, bleeding, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
They're going to stop making those payments.
It's not good for anybody, really.
It's not.
And that's
it's not at all.
That's the dangerous part. There's one specific individual who I've seen him on like TikTok and stuff, and I think he's in the sub 2 group. I don't know if he's actually in the sub 2 thing, but he actually gets a lot of heat. Like, I've seen people like make videos about him, and I feel like he's the one I'm competing against on some of these, because I've seen how he offers and how he structures, and his thing is always to go over ask and always offer like $10,000 or more. Like, it almost seems like he doesn't have any like number struck, like he's not running his numbers on like a spreadsheet or a financial nothing along those lines. It's just like,
let's no matter what, numbers.
Always offer $10,000 more or 10,000. And it's just like, that obviously doesn't work on everything. And I just feel like it's just not good for And it's like anything else, right? When wholesaling, at whatever point got really popular and hot, and it became like saturated to an extent, and you get bad practicers in it, and then eventually they end up getting out, hopefully. But I feel like that's kind of the space we're in now with sub 2 and creative. Is you're going to see a lot of bad operators, and unfortunately, this one is tough because at least cash offers. It's like, okay, I bought your house in cash, and there's no real dangerous middle side, but on
exactly
sub 2, there's a mortgage, there's someone's credit, there's all of these things.
You're playing with people's livelihood.
Yeah, that, and and then the biggest concern of mine is regulations being passed. If enough people get screwed over and enough people start reporting things, enough people start getting pissed off and they feel like they got screwed over or whatever it is, regulations will meet. Like you see all these wholesale regulations coming into play, like in Arizona, and I think Texas just did one, and a couple other states. You don't think that's gonna? And I remember Arizona. I got out of Arizona for a little bit because anything on market, these MLS, the brokerages were putting language in the listing agreement that said if they accepted a subject to transaction, that the listing agreement would automatically expire and they would have no representation.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was bull BS on I had an agent tell me that one time, and I was like, no, it's probably just your brokerage. And then I talked to like 2 to 3 other people on separate deals, and they all said the same thing. And they said that there was actually conversations taking place at like the MLS board level in Arizona.
Yeah, there you go.
They issue regulations across the entire. They said seller finance, we don't care. If there's no mortgage in place, you can accept any type of offer you want. But sub 2, if you accept it while under a listing agreement, then that listing agreement would automatically expire.
So what disadvantage does that have if it automatically expires for the seller or the agent or the buyer?
I had a good conversation with one of the agents, and he was good. We had like a good open dialogue, like a healthy dialogue about it in terms of, and I was like, I understand. Don't get me wrong. Like you, as the listing agent, you don't know who the buyer is coming in. You know, you're going to do your best to vet them. And so I understand like a risk factor there, and you don't want to be the one responsible 6 months down the road where the seller's like, hey, why did you let me do that? And stuff like that. But I go, it's also very unfair to the seller who now feels like, oh, if I accept this, I'm going to have no representation. I'm going to be like on an island by myself, and it automatically portrays sub 2 in a very, very negative light immediately when the repercussion is, oh, well, the listing agreement is going to expire and you're going to have no representation. Like, it's impossible to present my offer fairly at that point. How can you present a sub 2 unbiasedly to your seller if the repercussion is that the listing agreement is going to expire and you have no representation on that deal?
Yeah.
They're not going to want to do a deal then. And that's just not, it just doesn't really make sense to me. So I get it. I had to do a deal in Ohio one time, and the brokerage did a hold harmless agreement. So they added language to the contract.
Sure. I've seen that all the time. Yeah.
And so I asked that, I go, why isn't that the first move? Is just to be held harmless and allow a seller to sell their property however they want, and you still be compensated, as opposed to just being like, nope, we're not touching this with a 10-foot pole. You have to go unrepresented, and then make them feel like this is like a dirty thing, or it just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, certain parts of Arizona are super robust markets with a lot of investor activity, a lot of, they get hit up for that kind of stuff all the time. So that's my concern, is the regulation side of things. If too many bad operators get in the space, too many brand new people to the industry decide that they want to get into sub 2 and they don't know what they're doing, and they do a bunch of bad deals and screw a bunch of people over, that's where it gets dangerous. But I've been seeing it, like I said, especially in like the last 30 days, I would say almost 50% of the deals that I'm reaching out on, setting contracts on, have multiple sub 2 offers on them.
Well, first of all, I'd love for you to DM me that guy's name. I want to check him out, see if he is really in sub 2 or not. And if he is, I want to check his credentials, really.
Yep.
And then the other point is, all these people that are putting out these courses about sub 2 and creative and all this stuff, they're messing it up for everybody else.
And that's what it is. It's a big money grab, right?
Yeah.
A big money grab. Oh, I learned this new thing, and it's the hot thing. Just like, again, when wholesaling got really popular whenever it did, and so now everybody has course. It's just a money grab, and so now I learned a new thing, and I can teach everybody about it and make money on it. And again,
The whole
There's a great-
strategy of
great
if you're
area.
a couple of steps ahead of everybody else, you can form a course. Yeah, okay. On some things, maybe, but when it gets to stuff like this, you better know A to Z before you try to put up a course. Or you, ladies and gentlemen, better not buy from anybody unless you know that they know all their stuff.
1,000%. It's just one of those things where, and I'm getting agent outreach back to me too. Like I just talked to a guy in Arizona and he's like, "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" He's like, "We just did this with somebody and they couldn't perform, they couldn't get rid of it." And he's like, "And we kept their 5,000 in earnest money, or whatever it is." So he's like, if you want to risk losing your earnest money. So it's like they either have multiple sub 2 offers or they've already gone down that route and it didn't work out for whatever reason. That's the thing too. Like a lot of these people going under contract on sub 2s have never completed one before. So they
Exactly.
Cool. It's like a wholesale deal for a brand new person. You get under contract, you're like, awesome. You're like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And,
And they bring it to you or me or someone like us, and they're like, "Hey, I got a sub 2 deal under contract. Can you find a buyer for it? Or are you guys interested in buying it yourself?" And it's like, let's take a look at the numbers. Oh, 20% down. Okay. And you want, cash flow is 1,000 and the guy's asking for $1,500 a month. Okay. All right, great.
$30,000 assignment fee.
Right.
Yeah. I've seen too many of those, like 100K entry fee and then 30K assignment. I'm like, dude, you just ruined this deal.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Right.
And now this poor seller again thinks that they're packing up their boxes at home, thinking they're selling their house.
That right there is the worst part. That is the worst part when you are messing with people's lives, and they're all hopeful that you're going to get it done, and they are already in their mindset. They're already in their next house. Okay,
they got a contract,
and they're counting on you performing. And when you don't, I wouldn't sleep well that night.
No, and that's the unfortunate, and we've touched on it before, where like we're in real estate, right? So we're used to the ups and downs of real estate. We're used to contracts falling apart. We're used to buyers not performing. We're used to all of these things where like a seller on like a regular single family residential home who is not in real estate, who maybe bought the house 15 years ago and they've never touched or looked at another piece of real estate since then. They don't understand that there's a chance. I mean, sure, they understand there's a chance that it won't go through, but they got a contract. We both signed. You got earnest money. Like we're closing this thing pretty much. So that like their mind starts going to that next thing, and your mind is trying to dispo this thing. And if you can't, and you're not, and then all of a sudden the wholesaler stops responding to the listing agent or to the seller, and like they start going ghost, and it just becomes a thing where it's just unfortunate for the sellers. And like I said, that's gonna put a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths on any of these and it goes for anything. It goes with wholesaling, it goes whatever. It's just creative is the new wholesale like buzzword right now.
Yep.
That's what you're going to be seeing a lot in that situation. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to go, there's a lot of people that hate wholesalers, and there's going to be a lot of people that hate people doing creative finance because of the bad apples and because of the bad operators. But that's why hopefully places like this exist to hopefully show
educate people. Yep.
Yeah, just to do it again. You're not only helping yourself, you're helping the rest of the industry.
That's right.
In making this a success.
I mean, Kyle even brought up a great point. Sub 2s is critical as pre-foreclosures to make sure your numbers are correct.
Yeah,
I mean, in pre-foreclosures, dear Lord, that poor family is already in a lot of stress and duress. And if you don't perform, or if you give them a bogus deal, you're just. I 100% believe in karma. You are going to get screwed if you mess this up for people in pre-foreclosures.
I don't even think people understand the levity though of the situation, because obviously the same thing happens in the health industry. I see so many people who really need specialized attention, and they get some doofus from the local gym to work with them. All you just need to do is just like, do this, and then like, we'll help you with your weight loss and all this stuff. I'm like, man, there's so much more that needs to be happening with this individual. And it's like, it's just negligence on people who see an opportunity to make money from somebody. And, unfortunately, I don't think everybody understands the levity of every situation. That they don't understand the compacting and effect, of what can happen long term down the road just from you not delivering. Like they don't see the harm in it overall. So, I do think it's the lack of overall understanding, because at the end of the day, everybody really only cares about what affects them. Unfortunately, for the most part, they don't really think about what affects other people. So they're not even thinking about that. I don't think it's so much like, I don't think anybody's being like, oh man, lock this up, and if I sell it, I don't, whatever, fuck the seller. I don't think anybody's thinking that. I think it's what it is. They don't even really truly understand the seriousness which they're playing around with. That's why I've said several times, I tell people, I'm like, dude, don't just lock stuff up on market, right, when someone's been struggling to do this or that.
Yeah.
And you just lock it. Oh yeah, well, I got the realtor. I'm like, did they think you're buying it? Yeah. I mean, I'm wholesale. I'm like, but do they think you're buying it? Yes. They think I'm buying it. Okay, well then, the seller thinks they got this thing sold and done, and you're out here, pitching it around, and you don't even have it locked up for a good price. I mean, it's one thing if the seller's feeding you a crock of shit and they're not being honest on their end about their property, and you can't get it sold due to a bunch of reasons that you didn't have any understanding on. But it's other thing is like, if you just don't know your stuff and you immediately go on market to someone that needs to sell their property for whatever reason, right? And they finally think they got somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like every time you place an offer on something, every time somebody places an offer on your property, that person's thinking, oh, okay, I hope this is it. Trust me, I know, because I'm trying to sell a business right now, and every time we get somebody locked in, I'm versed enough now to know, like, I'm like, not, I don't like attach my emotions to the deal, but those associated with me on the deal, they're attached their emotions. Like one of them especially attaches, their emotions to the every buyer that supposedly comes in and wants to move forward with this purchase. And then when they don't purchase it, it's like we've now had 3 people back out, during their due diligence process. And every time they back out, they're always like, they get emotionally charged over that aspect. And you can't, because at the end of the day, it's just like, you can't ever attach your emotions to the end of a transaction. But if you're the buyer, if you're the wholesaler, it doesn't matter. If you make a direct action to purchase something, you better fucking be making it because you're serious. Like, these numbers at least make sense to us, right? Maybe we're missing something, but at least it makes sense to us. Right?
Yeah.
So like, it's just not a game.
I agree with what you're saying, Dan. The only caveat for me personally is I don't, or I try my best not to get involved emotionally in deals. But
Right.
The only caveat that I have is with pre-foreclosures. And again, it's because I went through it. I know the pain. So I want to help as many people as I possibly can in that category. So therefore, if someone is in the, I have one right now in Conroe, Texas. Okay. We've had this deal under contract since March, I think. Okay. And there is no real exit strategy for this. I'm just helping this guy try to get to his next point. So I'm dragging it as long as I possibly can to get him as much time as I possibly can. I will end up making $0. I'll lose money, honestly, because of the time that I've put into it. But because I'm emotionally invested in helping these people, I'm okay with that. So long as you know that up front and you're okay with it, all right, fine. But if you're going in and you are just emotionally attached to every single lead or deal, that comes from a scarcity perspective. You think that this is it. This is the only one. This is the big one. This is the grand slam home run that you're going to have. And so you get emotionally attached to it. And that's the worst thing you can do in business, is get emotionally attached to deals, not to people, to deals. Okay.
Yeah, you really start making bad decisions and really
Absolutely.
start making bad moves at that point.
Absolutely.
Really starting to overpromise things because now you feel bad for the person, and now And there's definitely a line of empathy, of course, and trying to do your best thing. But yeah, man, I hated it. We sold our condo a couple of years ago, and that was before that. Like I have my portfolio, and so like we just rented in the city. We loved just hopping from place to place every year and going around. And then we finally we bought a condo, and we had that for like 5.5 years and sold it. And like selling that, I hated that whole process. I hated having people come in and out. We had dogs, and I had to keep leaving. And every time a buyer walks in, you're like, man, I hope this is the one. And I'm sitting outside with the dogs looking up, and I can see them in the windows, and I'm like, all right, they've been there for like 20 minutes. Like, this is going to be the one. And then all of a sudden nothing comes of it, or like they offer really low or whatever. And it's just like, you play that up and down game as a seller, and you have these hopes. And we were trying to leave. We were trying to come here, actually, where we are now. And so like there was so much hanging on selling that condo. Like we needed to sell that condo to be done with the city, to come here. And so think about that on a when we could have afforded to come here if we needed to. And so think about sellers that aren't in a position to do that, and they need this, and they've been on the market for 90 days or 100 days, and you're praying on, they hit your filters because they've been on the market 90 days, and that's why you're talking to them. And it's just like, again, just do the absolute best that you can do in a situation. Be as transparent as you possibly can be, and that way, I'm always more willing to work with somebody if they've been transparent with me from the beginning. If all of a sudden I find out something 2-3 weeks into the contract, and I'm like, dude, why didn't you tell me that before? I could have helped you more. Then now I have no options. Now I can't help you. Now you can't be helped. This Maple Heights, Ohio deal where the buyer backed out because he got cold feet, and I told the guy, I was like, you're not screwing me as much as you're
Maple Heights,
Ohio.
If you find anything in Maple Heights, dude, I got a guy like immediately.
You got a guy?
Are you serious?
I'm being dead ass. Yeah. That was listen.
Oh, we could have broke that again.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you guys something about Maple Heights. Maple Heights was the first deal I ever did with anybody ever in REI Rev.
I was just gonna say, how do you even know Maple Heights?
That was a year ago. That was the first deal that I ever did with any Jakai Parker. Yes.
That dude is active.
Connected. Well, it was actually supposed to be with SCO. I don't know. SCO's been gone for so long. People in here now even know who SCO is. Like SCO was he's an OG member of REI Rev, and John and SCO were the first people to get me involved with the server, and then he was the first one to plug me in. John got me plugged into the server because of this deal in Maple Heights, and then Jakai ended up being plugging me in with this buyer, and now we've done over 20 some transactions with this one buyer. Me and this guy, his name is Isaac. Yeah, and this guy
all in
Isaac,
Ohio,
all in Cleveland. Yeah.
That's funny. I thought you were trolling me at first because I was like, Maple Heights, really? That was the first time
it's a really good area. Yeah, it's a Cleveland Heights, Maple Heights. All those areas. You want to stay away from Slavic Village, those areas, supposedly. Yeah, if anybody's wondering. But yeah, if anybody gets everything over there, make sure you send it over our way, because
the power of putting yourself out there and speaking.
Right, exactly.
I would have never known that Dan was a Maple Heights guy.
Yeah.
I would have never known that Dan was moving from Miami to Maple Heights. And,
never moving to Maple Heights. I'm never going to see me living.
Had I not put myself
never
out
going to
there.
see me living in Maple Heights. I've debated back and forth several times, having I was renting another place in Columbus actually for a while. I was, and I would go back and forth. But now I unfortunately, I think I have to. Yeah, if I get another second residence, I have to. It has to be in Vegas. So
what a scenery change going from Miami.
I thought it was Carmel. What happened?
That would be for my personal residence. This
Gotcha.
Secondary residence for you know what? But I might honestly, if it's possible that if something popped up that was in Carmel that was like really nice and I couldn't pass up, I'd probably take that over the Vegas property.
Where's Carmel?
It's very close. So
Carmel by the sea is a city in California.
Yeah,
by the it's a gorgeous little town.
So, man, that was one of the best vacations I've probably ever had.
Is that where you just were a couple months ago, Dan?
That was
a few months back.
Yeah, it was like a few months
April,
back.
May.
It was like three or 4 months back.
Yeah.
I was recently in the Virgin Islands. That's where it was in July. But
No, but you were there. I think when I first kind of joined the group,
Yeah.
when you first kind of joined
Yeah.
the group, yes, that would
Yeah.
be Carmel. Yeah.
Hey, but going back to your point, Matt, as far as like all these multiple sub 2 or creative offers, my honest suggestion to everyone here and just in general is, if you want to learn about sub 2 or creative, fantastic. You're just adding another tool to your belt and you're even a better investor. Until you learn it really well, partner up with someone who knows what they're doing so that you can see and learn from them. Go work for a company that does creative deals, okay? And learn from them so that you don't make mistakes. Not like that guy, though, that overprices everything, but legitimate, honest companies, okay? Go partner up with these people or work for them so that you learn and then you can become better at it. Don't play or mess around with other people's lives.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. Yeah, I mean it's 100% because it's just one of those. You can't be. I mean, we're here to make money, right? But I love creative because it sounds corny, but like you can truly help people. There are people out there that the traditional market cannot help them. A cash offer is not helping them. Introduction, seller credits, none of those things are helping them. They need to get rid of these properties, and creative is the place to do that. But don't give false hope. Don't do anything shady just for your own pockets. And the idea of counting contracts, like, oh, I have 10 contracts right now, and it's like, well, how many of those are actual good deals, and how many of those did you just overdo it just to get them under contract, and then hopefully someone will come along and buy them, and if not, you'll have to go back and get price reductions. And so I just I got Xander making phone calls for me, and even he knows where like he'll talk to an agent and they'll be like, oh, we have 2 other sub 2 contracts on the table, and he'll get the terms out of the agent of what's on the table. And Xander comes back to me and he's like, we wouldn't be interested in that, would we? He's like, that's crazy. He's like, and he's already kind of running the numbers on his side, and he understands already like that's not. And I was like, yeah, I already know what they're doing. It's not, there is no exit strategy with those numbers of what they're, again, if this is like parts of Vegas and these are like some insane hot markets, I can understand to an extent on certain
But they're
things.
speculating still. I mean, that's still not good. That's still not good investing.
It's still not a good excuse to be offering in certain situations, but just the most regular markets in the Midwest and other places, they're offering, you're at 15% entry just on that side of things, without including their ginormous assignment that I know they're going to attach to it. And so it's just, I don't know, to me, it doesn't make sense, and it's not worth my time I don't want to be the guy that your offer's already so high and makes no sense. And I have to feel pressured now to go even higher than that. And then I'm going to be the one that wins. And then I have to be the one to tell you no? No way.
So as I'm thinking about this more and more, Matt, I have not come across this yet. But if I do now that you brought it up, I mean, as I'm thinking about this, I'm just going to tell flat out the agent or the seller, okay, when are you expecting them to stop making your monthly payments?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
because they're going to at some point. Is that what your plan is? To get somebody to come in, pay you a high price, make your monthly payments for maybe a month or 2, and then stop making your payments, and then you having to go through foreclosure process? Is that what your plan is?
You know why he's dangerous?
Because honestly,
is he does that on the seller finance side too. So not only does he do it on the sub 2 side where he'll offer like crazy seller proceeds and all that, but he'll do it on the seller finance side where it doesn't seem like he's running his numbers, and he'll offer way over ask. He made a video where he offered $50,000 over ask for 0% interest. And, I didn't take a look at the property or anything like that, but for the price that it was listed at on the video compared to $50,000 additional dollars for 0% equity or 0% interest, the numbers no way made sense at that point. And again, he's not doing any calculations of like he's just adding extra on top to get the 0%, but doesn't understand like what that means in terms of like principal payoff. And then he always he has like an email template again, I've watched his videos. He's like, oh, you can download my email template, and he shows a thing, and he always puts a 5 to 7 year balloon in his offers. So that's all of these sub 2 offers that I'm seeing too have balloons attached to them. And so whoever this person, if it's him or people that are coming from him or elsewhere, they're adding in these crazy entry fees to seller proceeds, or they're going way above ask, and then also putting 5 to 7 year balloons on their deals.
So,
Setting everybody up for disaster.
well, okay, so yeah, 5 to 7 year balloon, that's stupid. But that is a strategy that Pace actually uses. So
If
to
you're putting-
get 0% interest from the seller. And you're basically telling them that you're front loading their
You're
interest.
front loading interest, right?
Yeah.
Which I understand. My
But
concern is
50,000
when people-
above, I mean,
Right,
those numbers better make sense. Those
That's what I'm
monthly
saying.
numbers, yeah. If they don't
I
make
love-
sense, that's stupid.
I love the strategy, and I always run
Yeah.
my offer both ways, right? Where
Yep,
I'm like,
yep,
all right,
exactly.
I can offer
Me
you,
too.
I can
Yep.
offer you asking or whatever it is with this interest or with this payment, or I
Yep.
can go above. But
Yep.
I've ran my numbers on the above, especially if I'm adding a balloon in there of what my
Yep.
payoff is going to be at that time.
Right.
Because let's just say it's 50, I go 50 grand above at 0%, and then by the time my balloon is due, I'm still above the current. Like, what if the numbers don't shake out?
Yep.
It's just, again, people try to, oh, well, it's 0% interest. And it's like, yeah, but you went that deal in Vegas that you and I were discussing. They went
Mhm.
$350,000 above asking.
And what happened to that one?
On a 5-year balloon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I
the
mean,
numbers
we
just don't
do
make sense.
5-year balloons, but there's always the
Right.
option of adding an additional 5 years. You know, if within 5 years it doesn't appraise for the asking price, then we get an option of an extra 5 years. But
course.
yeah, but just flat out saying 5 years and 50,000 over asking price without going through numbers, that's stupid. That's just
Yeah,
plain
that's-
stupid.
That's the dangerous part of, again, because this is such a low barrier entry business, right? Like, there's no licensing involved. There's no nothing. You can
Yeah.
literally join a Discord group and start making phone calls and start putting offers out there, which is great because it brings more people to the industry because of that, and allows more opportunities to people who, instead of having to go get a college education or certificates and all of those things. But what's dangerous about that is, if you don't have an investing background or you're not running your numbers, you're not actually figuring out what these deals actually mean, and you're putting a lot of people at risk in those situations. Now, what happens when you have $1 million note that's due in 5 years and you have no way of paying that off? Now you're going to get your property taken away from you, and it's just
Yep.
going to be
Yep.
crazy.
I don't even really feel like it's even smart right now to invest and buy conventionally right now in most areas. I was having this debate the other day with a couple people who I know, and they just bought their daughter a home in St. Petersburg. And they were like, "Oh yeah, when are you going to be buying in Miami?" And I was like, probably like never, probably not for a long time, just because it doesn't make any sense, and they didn't really understand my purpose. And I was just like, well, hey, look, I said, let me break this down for you just so you understand, because most people don't understand real estate and the market and all this stuff. And they're like, well, wouldn't you rather have, like, why would you pay so much in rent? Why are you paying so much in rent? But you mean, would you rather have that go towards something that you own that appreciates in value? And I'm like, okay, let me break this down for you. I was like, if you buy the unit that I currently rent, I was like, let's say you buy it for what it's worth, but 1.7 million, right? Let's say you buy it for 1.7 million and you put 25% down on that property, right? And then you get a conventional or even an FHA loan on this property, with the current interest rates that are currently available. Even if your credit is in good shape, you're probably not going to get better than a 6.5% or a 6.7% interest rate right now. And I said, if you take that and you take that over even a 30-year term, right? First of all, you're having to put $400 and some thousand down on the property that I currently have. Plus, you're paying a monthly HOA of $5,800 a month, right? HOA in this building, $5,800 a month. So you're paying $5,800 a month in HOA for this unit. Plus, you're putting down your PITI, which is going to be 6,000 and some, or probably 7,000 and some a month. Okay, And then you're putting all that together. On top of that, you're paying close to almost $13,000 a month to be able to have your full payment to pay for this unit that you bought. Now, let's say in 30 years, right, you pay off the loan. In just interest, total everything together, you've probably paid over almost close to $5 million total in your whole entire, money that you've spent over these past 30 years. So do you really think that the property appreciates in values over $5 million more within 30 years? And if you look back at the history of the building, even with everything that has happened with the history of Miami now, even to this point, and the massive growth that we've had, the property's only gone up 800 and some thousand in the last 20 some years. So it's not even going to reach $5 million or even go over $5 million in 30 years. You're dreaming. And so I said the reality of it is, to me, is with my business, do you think my businesses will only evaluate $5 million more in 30 years? I was like, if they did, it's a failure, right? If my business only goes up in evaluation $5 million in 30 years, I've failed. So, my business could be well worth over $100 million. My business portfolio is going to be well worth over $100 million in equity in 30 years. Easy. So, why would I go and invest this money into real estate right now in this current market? I was like, when I could easily, go and, take that money and invest it back into my businesses. And that's why I do what I do. And I said, so for me, it makes more sense. For me, if I want to live where I want to live, it makes more sense for me to utilize my businesses to rent that. And because of the fact that all my businesses are virtual, I have a virtual office space, right? So, which means that I have to have a place to live. I have to have a place to work out of. So a large part of my square footage is a business tax write-off. So the larger my rent, the bigger the tax write-off for my companies. So, and part of my living expenses is covered in my contract with one of my companies, which is another write-off for my business. So you have all these different things that adds up that creates this additive for my companies, and then my business keeps growing in value, and it can grow way faster in equity appreciation than I could ever do buying real estate here in Miami. That's just my opinion. But so I told them, I was like, what you really need to do if you're going to invest in real estate right now is you really need to learn about seller finance or sub two. I was like, because that's the only way for you to really buy something on a loan based term right now, and actually have it be able to evaluate in a correct, in a correct model for you to actually be able to make money. But, it's hard to explain that to just like your average person. And the other thing is too, is, not everybody is going to be able to start a business, and definitely not everybody's going to be able to start a business that's going to produce over $100 million in equity. So, it's the one thing about real estate that I do love is the ability of real estate gives anybody, it gives, Tom, the plumber, the ability to invest in real estate. It gives, Jack, the mailman, the ability to be able to take his money and invest in something that can appreciate, but you have to do it this far away. And I think right now, seller finance and creative is the best way to do it.
We got another creative guy over here. We're recruiting. We're recruiting.
It's the only thing that makes sense. If you're going to buy right now, it's the only thing that makes sense is to get an interest rate from a previous point in time. If you're going to finance it, right? It's the only thing that makes sense.
You're muted, Matt.
Yeah, we can't hear Matt.
Really?
I didn't know if he was speaking to somebody else there.
How about now?
There we go.
That was weird. I wasn't. My mic must have. Yeah, especially if we're playing the game of, let's just say this is a downward market. If I gotta play the swing of how long is this gonna be a downward market until it gets better, I want to be playing the swing on a 3% interest rate as opposed to a 7% interest rate. So at least my principal pay down is matching what the downward market is, and so that way when the market does pick back up, I've at least had some principal pay down as opposed to riding out this wave on a 7% interest. So my principal pay down has been nothing over the next 5 years, and now I have no equity. Even if my property stagnates and does nothing over the next 5 years, I've also paid down nothing either. So yeah, creatively, if I can go scoop up a 2.5% to 4% interest rate, that's already 2 years seasoned, and I have a little bit of equity in there, and I can pay down a lot more and have that ability to 100%. And now when that wave starts going back up the other way, or we start seeing some appreciation, I have some equity here and I can actually put some tax-free dollars in my pocket if it makes sense and do some cash out refinances on these properties too. So I think, yeah, I love it for so many different reasons. I love it for holding it. I love it for wrapping them and just for cash flow purposes. I like them for all sorts of reasons. And yeah, to
Lease
me,
options.
lease options, yeah. There's few other strategies that I like as much as I like creative as an exit in that situation. Again, I feel like wholesaling can be great. There are specific people out there that wholesale cash offers are great for. They're like, I'm so done with this. I want out. I want whatever. And that's great for them. But I feel like for me personally, creative touches a lot more people and has the ability to help both sides of the transaction instead of just one side of the table for the most part.
Yes.
The other fast becoming my favorite exit strategy is pad split that you can do so well with creative. So well. I mean,
he's really into the pad split.
yeah, man.
He loves
So, Bob,
that split, man.
Dude, he talks, he brings it up every chance. He brings it. Better be careful, man. You better keep that close to the chest.
I know,
man.
right?
Chest,
Yeah,
Bob.
Right?
It'd be like
Yeah.
you know, like in NASCAR where they put the logos all over the cars. Bob,
Right.
it's got pad split on
Yeah,
there.
Bob's sponsored. I sort of think Bob might be sponsored by Pad Split.
It's already ordered.
Bob, what would you
Bob's like he like holds up a can. He's like, you know what? The greatest thing that I've been interested in is actually a Pad Split. I don't know. They just sent me this great mug. I don't know if put
drinking
that back.
coffee
But
from my pad
yeah.
split mug.
yeah, next thing we know, he's picking up a coffee mug and it says Pad Split on the outside. Wait a minute.
He's like Will Ferrell.
Is Pad Split paying you for talk time?
I should contact them and let them know.
He's like, I was contracted to have to say Pad Split 5 times an episode on REI Rev.
Money ain't bad.
Will Ferrell and Talladega Nights with all the logos, and he gets sponsored. What would you say is a good, like, so when we're looking at exit strategies, right? You pick up a deal.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out what your exit strategies are on this deal, right? So you can go figure out your long-term rents. You can go on Rentometer. You can go on Zillow. You can go on the MLS. You can go all these places. You go to short-term rental. There's Data Rabu. There's 5 other places you can go for short-term. When you're doing your pad split exit strategy comping, I guess you would say, or to figure out, approximately, can you go on pad split
Yes.
and type in an address and then it'll give you estimates in that regard?
Well,
or it'll give you other properties?
Exactly. Yeah. It won't, you won't be putting in the address of your property, but you can put like the street and city or at the very least the city. And if pad splits in it, which they are in most of the major markets, at least right now, and they're expanding very quickly. So that's one way. The other way that you could do it, honestly, well, okay, so just so everybody knows, and I'm not getting paid for this, Dan, but with pad split, they basically help you find your tenants, okay? And they take care of the tenant issues. They take care of collections. They take care of all of that. Yeah. So pad split, basically what you're doing is you take care of the property. They take care of the tenants. Okay. And whatever they collect, okay, whatever the rent is, they take 15% of that. That's their share.
So they're like property management just on the tenant side of things.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But if something goes wrong, then it's on me. Okay. So I got to take care of that. But they honestly more than double to triple your LTR rents. Okay, so it is well worth it.
I got a guy right now.
What he hears.
I saw that. I saw that light bulb.
Bob, do you have a code for pad split that we could put in when
Matter of fact, now that you bring it up, Dan,
Put in promo code bruh.
bruh, there you go.
I got a guy.
So I was just going to tell you one other thing. The other place that you can go to find out that, believe it or not, is Airbnb. You go to Airbnb because they rent by the room now too.
They do, yes.
So you can go to Airbnb and find out how much those rentals are per room. Now, it's not going to be as nice as an Airbnb, what you're going to be renting out to, but still, you at least can get some sort of an idea. Okay, especially if pad split's not in that market.
Yeah. What is the idea of pets? So Airbnb, right? Is the idea is it's potentially like a hotel in someone's house, right? So it's a lot of amenities. It's a lot of the towels and there's the you're trying to create this experience for that person. What is pad splits? Is it just like, hey, is it not? Is it Airbnb without the razzle dazzle?
So they do it down here in Miami. Essentially, all it is like, let's say you want to like you want to rent, right? Like you want to be a roommate. Essentially, like you don't care to room with other people, and you just want to rent a room. They'll give you the pictures and everything of like the spaces, and basically they will allow you to rent like a room in the house for $200 or $300 a week.
A week.
You can rent this for so that way it gives people the opportunity. Like, let's say you're traveling somewhere for like you're a traveling nurse or something like that. It's like big with that. Like, I'll rent this for $300 a week. So I'm here on a job for this week. Or if it's really big, also for like power workers, so guys that work on power lines, guys that work on roads,
any sort of workers,
government contractors that come in that just do a week, 2 or 3 weeks of work. They don't do a full month. They don't do a few days. They do a couple weeks or 3 weeks. They can rent a room in this house for 3 weeks, or you can take a few of you, right? And you rent the same space or whatever. But I mean it works, or you can stay there for a long period of time.
So here's what I was going to say. Did you know, Dan? I'm still not getting paid for them. I goddamn got to reach out to them and tell them I got to get paid.
This will be live on YouTube. I'll send it
he
to
said,
the
"Did
CEO."
you know?" And then he like leans down and his hat says "Pad Split."
Did you know that the average tenant for Pad Split stays in that room for 10 and a half months?
Oh, wow.
Why?
Not bad. Not bad. At that high of a rate too.
People are broke,
right?
John.
I'm telling you, it's not bad at all.
Listen, people that what's crazy is like, though, too, I know that they're renting rooms down here in Miami for like $400 a week.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's affordable. Like, that's affordable.
That's affordable. Exactly.
Because the other thing is like here's the thing is like, you could be living in a nice house for $1,600 a month, essentially. Yeah, you're sharing with other people, but you're renting out. Like, trust me, you can't get a nice place down here for $1,600 a month. Like, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Like, you're living like way outside of Miami, or you're like living somewhere you don't want to live.
There was the building that we were living at before we came out here. It's called NEMA in Chicago. It's 75 floors. There's basketball players and football players. Like, it's a really nice building. And
You were living there?
No, I was living there before. I was on the 51st floor, I think 52nd floor.
Yeah, he was living there.
It was a nice one. It was a nice one. It was the sky. It was the skyline section of the building. But I ended up meeting this kid there. His name's Cameron, and he's like an 18-year-old wholesaler. I should actually see if he.
Oh, is he on social media?
Yeah.
Because yeah.
End up on your algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he lived in NEMA, and I used to see him in. So like, depending on which part of the building you lived in, you had your own like lobby style, hangout area. And so he lived in Skyline, and I ended up finding out it was like him and his 4 boys lived together in this big ass unit they were spending like $9-10 grand a month. But it's the kind of the idea of pad split. Like, they were just each in their own room. They had a 3 or 4 bedroom, and they were each paying $1,500 or whatever it was. So I get the idea of it for sure. It just obviously I imagine location is very, very important, of course, in terms of pad split.
Credit's also a big thing too. People don't have credit, so they can't rent somewhere with a leasing company or whatever. But you could go rent a room at Pad Split, pay $300-400 a week. So I mean, there's all kinds of different things.
Can you apply? If I want to rent a room, can I apply on Pad Split, and then Pad Split will help with that situation? Like, how do I find a person for I have a house in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to do Pad Split. Can I go on Pad Split?
Yeah, you set an agreement with Pad Split. Pad Split's the one who goes and finds your tenants for you. So yes, your agreement is with Pad Split, and then people go to Pad Split. Pad Split does all the marketing to find the buyers, the tenants and everything. So they're taking care of all of that for you. And there's so basically what you're doing with Pad Split is you are taking your house, you're taking all the common spaces and turning them into rooms. So let's say if you've got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot house, you can turn that easily into a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, right?
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
Then you furnish it with the very basics. So you have a bed, comfortable bed, if you want to be really nice, you can have a little desk for them on the side. That's about it, really. Maybe some artwork on the walls and everything, and that's it. And then the only common area that they have is the kitchen. Okay? So for every 3 bedrooms, you need to have 1 bath. Okay? And so you can easily, for every 4 bedrooms, you can have 1 bath. Okay? So this
4 bedrooms?
4 bedrooms, 1 bath. Yeah.
I wouldn't
So-
want to share a bathroom with strangers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I got Section 8. I have Section 8 properties that are 4 bed, 1 bath.
John never lived in a college dorm.
right? Exactly.
Yeah. You should see my townhouse in college. There was 11 of us and 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, dude, we had community bathrooms in my dorm hall. Unfortunately, yeah, and that was it's an experience, man.
2 people to a room and 2 bathrooms for there was.
Oh yeah, you had the bathroom in the middle and 2 people,
Yep.
a room on each side. Yeah.
Yep.
I never lived in one of those, but yeah, we had the community showers, community bathrooms.
I do think that
It's making John cringe. Look at him over there in his chair. He's shaking.
John Ratio, he needs 3 bedrooms for every one of him.
Yeah, that's right. I need my space. I got 3 bedrooms here. Still nobody pulls up though. Y'all know where I'm at.
You don't know where I'm at. Yeah, man, my mistake. Let me get my passport ready to go back to Let me get back to Brazil.
We carve out
Jesus.
14 hours for the
Hey guys,
plane
I'm
ride.
sorry. I got to take off. It's almost 10 o'clock already. Dang.
It is.
All right. I'll see you guys later, guy. Have a great day.
Bye, Bob. He forgot to say pad split one more time. I think he's supposed to say pad split
stands-
one more time before
He
before
stands
he
up.
left.
He's got pad split underwear on.
He's
as he
got
walks
pad
up.
split all over his chest. Hey, before I go, I just wanted to let everybody know there was an issue with the back end recording with my team for the webinar event that I did on Friday. I do have a sales. We're doing a day 2, which is the sales webinar this Friday. If any of you are interested or didn't have the opportunity to make it last Friday, so if you missed last Friday, I'm doing a re-recording of last Friday today for all the people that paid for all 4 recordings. So we've already had people pre-purchase for the recordings. So what I want to do is I will give you guys the option today. If you guys want to pre-purchase and get in on the 4 recordings, I'll send you guys the link to get in on the live stream today, and we'll redo the questions. So if you missed last Friday, there's a chance for you to come back in and you can ask questions live, and I'll give you a exclusive webinar link. We're going to redo the recording from last Friday. So if you guys are interested, it's $50 for all 4. You will get access to all 4 recordings, and then you'll also get access tonight to tonight's live podcast. Plus, you guys, if you guys are on REI Rev, you'll still get access to the other 3 for 100% free. So if you guys are interested, all you got to do is just send me a DM with your email address, and just we'll get you added to the email list, and we'll get you hooked up on the webinar tonight. So that's, if you missed last Friday to set up a CRM, just let me know, shoot me your email, and we'll get you plugged in tonight as we do the re-recording from last Friday.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
John, open your eyes.
I can't. They got me up too late, man. You should have heard the conversations. I love the conversations, man. They get me, but I gotta go to sleep, man. I gotta go to sleep. But it's like the realest shit be happening after 12 p.m. It's a.m. It's crazy.
That wasn't. That was the realest shit. That was the realest. That was the realest conversation.
It was the realest one yet, man. Realest one yet. We got some real people in real estate with some real conversations.
Are you gonna take an afternoon? Are you gonna take an afternoon nap?
Let me make a phone call and see.
2 p.m. This guy's gonna go lay down. It's good.
Oh man.
It's 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Tuesday. This guy's gonna go he's just gonna go do a quick lay down real fast. Take a quick nap.
Oh man. I told
Sometimes you gotta recharge. You know.
Uh
I don't know.
I gotta go catch get a Celsius. I gotta
I'm on
figure
Celsius, man.
my way.
You guys gotta
smash
go
the
on
Celsius.
Celsius about
Figure out why my company's falling apart today.
Hit me about
Who's getting
that.
fired?
Let's chat.
Huh?
Man. Let's chat. I think there might be an opportunity to make some money.
Oh no, we still have a dispo agent. I still have. We just lost. We had one. Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but yeah. So it's not that bad. She's okay. She can go.
Oh, I know. Okay, all right, everybody.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. That one's still there.
Oh, that one's still
Yeah.
there. Okay, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, there's the
Ladies
other
and
one.
gentlemen,
You don't know.
if you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link, discord.gg. Remind me to go to sleep early tonight. No more late nights. You know, I can't be doing this stuff. I take care, everybody.
What are you, 22 years old? What are you doing staying up
Take
late?
care, everybody. He's just like that's it. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Let's get to
Goodbye.
the phones. Let's get on this one.
Goodbye.